River that runs by Memphis, Tennessee. It has been the host for the SEC Championship Tournament this weekend. 12 of the SEC teams have been here. 2 remain, and they will battle it out for the SEC Tournament Championship this afternoon. A rematch between Kentucky and Florida, the co-champions in the regular season in the SEC East. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Kessling, and welcome to SEC Championship Sunday here from the Pyramid in Memphis. Today, the Kentucky Wildcats and the Florida Gators, both teams with 25 wins, and both teams who have been very impressive so far in this tournament, clash for the championship and the automatic bid that goes with the tournament winner to the NCAA tournament. Let's see how these two teams got here. When you look at Kentucky, you think about championships. Remarkably, they are making their 25th tournament championship game appearance. They've won the title 17 times, and they've also won this tournament championship the last 2 years, 1992 and 1993. That contrasts with Florida. The Gators have never won the tournament championship, 0-2 in title games, and they've only been to the championship game in 1934 and 1989. It's the third matchup of the year between Kentucky and Florida, with the Gators winning the first game 59-57, and then Kentucky held serve in Lexington 80-77. So you look at this tournament, a lot of enthusiasm all week long. The Arkansas fans have been here, so have the Kentucky fans, and fans from all over the conference. Dave Baker now is with some of those fans right now.
Bob, as you're no doubt aware, it's a rainy day here in Memphis, but it's certainly not dampened the spirits of anyone who's on hand for this 1994 SEC Championship game here at the Pyramid. Fans are filing into the Pyramid, and not only are they hitting the concession stands, but they're hitting the souvenir stands as well. No exception here. You've got the fans from Kentucky and Florida who've been here all throughout the weekend when the doors first open on Thursday. But in addition to that, you've got fans from the western part of Kentucky who've got in their cars, hit the highway, and drove down here last night after Arkansas was defeated, and plenty of Arkansas folks looking to sell tickets. Interestingly enough, here at this souvenir stand, the Arkansas paraphernalia has not gone down in price. You can get a Hog t-shirt for 15 bucks. The reason there has been no price adjustment despite that loss is the fact that, well, most of the Arkansas folks managed to get those t-shirts before their team was eliminated, so that's the reason for no variance in price. Now, what do people do when they're not watching a game? Well, if you're going to take in 4 games, you've got to eat, and they have gone through some kind of food here at the Pyramid. 1,650 pounds of barbecue. They have gone through 18,000 all-beef hot dogs, and you know what? I don't know what the pretzel count is, but add one more to the list.
And he'll punish some pretzels before this day is over, I'll bet you. Let's look at how these teams got here. The tournament started on Thursday here at the Pyramid. First game winners, South Carolina, Auburn, Georgia, and Mississippi State. Then the seeded teams came into play on Friday. They all won: Florida, Alabama, Arkansas, and Kentucky. Now that sets us up for the semifinals yesterday, where Florida smothered Alabama. The Gators' defense was terrific. And, of course, the Kentucky Wildcats, with their 16 three-point shots, beat the Arkansas Razorbacks. Exciting basketball yesterday. Let's take a look back at what unfolded in the semifinals here at the Pyramid. Lon Kruger's Florida Gators were very impressive in their semifinal matchup with Alabama. Florida's fantastic guards led the way. Craig Brown had 17 points to lead the Florida attack, but the key for the Gators, like it's been all season, their defense. Florida led 38-25 at halftime and never let the Tide back into the game. They held Alabama to a season-low 52 points. The Gators won 68-52 over Alabama and advanced to the championship game. The glamour matchup of the tournament, the high-powered and top-ranked Arkansas Razorbacks taking on the tradition-rich Kentucky Wildcats. Intensity and three-point shooting were the keys for the Cats. Kentucky had an SEC tournament record, 16 three-point shots. Travis Ford hit 5 of 7 trays, and the Wildcats had 5 players in double figures. They knocked off highly regarded Arkansas and advanced to the tournament championship game for the 25th time. So the Wildcats and the Gators, both teams on a roll. They will clash head-to-head for the SEC championship. We'll talk with Gator coach Lon Kruger when SEC Tournament Sunday continues from Memphis.
The Gators have 2 of the finest guards in the country, Brown and Cross, especially Cross. Of course, Brown is awfully good, too. One's a senior, I believe, and the other's a junior. And anytime your guards, I've always said that if your guards are very tough, you got a chance to be very good. And Florida's got those kind of guards, and that's why they are where they are. The teams that don't have the great guards, they may have all the other intangibles, but if the guard play is not there, you can't win. Florida's got the guards. So in order to do anything to stop Florida, you got to cut off the head. If you cut off the head, the body don't function as well. And of course, crosses the head.
Sunday, the Florida Gators going for their first SEC tournament championship under Lon Kruger, and the Gator coach joins us. Your team has played very well in this tournament so far, Coach.
Bob, really have played 2 ball games pretty well, consistently for 40 minutes. I think our awareness has been good, our intensity has been good. Guys have been very unselfish, as they've been all year, and now certainly look forward to the opportunity to play against a very good club.
Your team the past couple of years has not played that well in this tournament. What's the difference this year?
Well, I think, generally speaking, this club is much improved over the past. I think they've a lot of the same players, but they've taken the experience. They've gotten the leadership from the guards, especially Dan Cross and Craig Brown, and certainly have prepared to play each ball game as a unique opportunity.
It's been fun to watch Cross all season long. He just seems to get better with each game, doesn't he?
Well, he has. Dan Cross has taken his game to a new level, it seems like, every 3 weeks. And certainly the leadership that he's giving us, as well as the points and rebounds and defensive effort, has been very consistent and very outstanding.
A lot of talk about your guards, but Andrew DeClerq just plays so great in the middle. He kind of goes unnoticed a lot, doesn't he?
Well, he sure does. A lot of different people have stepped up for this club at different times. I think that's been a trademark. Dan and Craig have been there consistently throughout. But Andrew, again, outstanding rebounder, very active defensively. Dimitri Hill on the inside, Brian Thompson, Jason Anderson combined their numbers at that small forward spot. We've gotten pretty good numbers there, too.
You talk about Hill a little bit. He's just fun to watch while he bangs around inside, and he gets a lot of things done, doesn't he?
Well, he really does. He does, surprisingly, a real good job defensively of making people set up just a little bit wider than what they're accustomed to or comfortable with, and offensively, a very good touch and active score. Okay, you held Alabama to 52 points, a low mark of the season. They're an up-tempo game. It's going to be an up-tempo game today, too. Can you slow down this game this afternoon, do you think? Well, I don't think so. I think you've got to be aggressive. You've got to attack. You certainly can't slow it down to the point where you become tentative. You've got to make plays. Both clubs, this club makes you make plays. So it's a situation where you've got to go ahead and attack and be aggressive and finish opportunities.
You ever thought that this team could get to this championship game this year? Did you have that envision when you started?
Well, this has been a club that's not really focused on the long range. They've really done a great job of focusing on the short term, of getting ready to play each ball game. And I don't know that they've thought too much about playing in the championship game, but now I know they look forward to that chance.
It's been a remarkable year for Lon Kruger's Gators. 25 wins, the most in the school's history. And look at the progress Kruger has made at Florida. First year, 11-17. The past 2 years to the NIT. This year, a lock for the NCAA championship, or NCAA tournament. 25-6 is the record this year. And of course, now the Gators trying to win their first ever SEC tournament championship. Kentucky and the Gators coming up. We'll talk to Rick Pitino of the Wildcats when we continue.
Well, Florida's pretty good, just to say that there's one thing that you have to do to stop them. But right off, you have to be able to contain the backcourt. Florida right now is a very confident team. And one of the reasons they're confident is because they've got a junior and a senior back there, senior Brown, junior Cross, that are just playing lights out. And you've got to be able to contain those people. Don't let them get a lot of points. Don't let them make plays for the other people. If you can handle their guard, then there's a pretty good chance that you're going to make the other people beat you. And when you take the leading scorers and out and make other people beat you, then you've got a good chance.
In terms of guarding their three-point shooters, if you can control Travis Ford, that gives you a great opportunity to beat Kentucky. You have to be aware of Travis. If you double team him, he sometimes gets out of the traps and gets the ball to open players. But you have to really get out, extend your defense, guard those shooters. But when you're doing that, you have to be very careful because their inside game is pretty good when they start running those cuts off those screens.
So the Kentucky Wildcats in familiar territory as the Wildcats playing for a championship. The Florida Gators, of course, going to the championship game for only the third time in history, and the Gators still looking for their first tournament title. And they go after one of the tradition-rich teams in America, the Kentucky Wildcats. Dave Baker, of course, has been following Kentucky and Florida throughout this tournament. But, Dave, I think one of the key stories of this tournament has been Kentucky and how they've overcome all kinds of adversity, not only during this tournament, but during the season as well.
Well, Bob, you just talk about a little bit of what we have referred to as a soap opera season at Kentucky, and certainly it has been. First of all, they had to recover from the loss of Jamal Mashburn, who decided to go pro early and make the big bucks with the Dallas Mavericks. Then early in the season, it was in the Vanderbilt game when Rodney Dent went down with a season and possibly a career-ending knee injury. Put that on top of the fact that you had the free throw switcheroo down at Vanderbilt, 3 players suspended for the Tennessee game. And then you come in here to the SEC tournament, and of course all kinds of things happen. You had Rodrick Rhodes, who missed a curfew, and then you had Billy Donovan, who went through his whole crazy day yesterday. But the Cardiac Cats, they have certainly been that. They have come back from 14-point deficit at Tennessee. They have come back, of course, from that 31-point deficit at LSU. And then the last time that they played Florida, that was in Lexington. The Gators got up by 19 points before the Cats came back. But now Rodrick Rhodes is off suspension. Billy Donovan and his wife, Christine, have a new baby girl named Brooke. And, of course, everything now appears to be right with the Wildcat camp. But to get the full report on what's going on with the Kentucky Wildcats, let's hear from the head man himself, Rick Pitino, joined by our Bob Kessling.
Kentucky coach Rick Pitino makes the championship game again, 3rd straight year, and your team played so well against Arkansas.
We did. We learned a lot of lessons this year, especially when we lost to Arkansas last time, that we would let them have their run, but we wouldn't lose focus. The first half, our offensive spacing was magnificent. We could never allowed them to double team us. And the whole game, our defense was great. Our zone defense, our matchup zone defense, trapping on the baseline really helped us. And we got them out of shooting the perimeter shot, at least a good perimeter shot.
Boy, and some of your young players are really coming of age, aren't they?
Yes, they are. We really worked hard this season. This is the hardest season that I think a team of mine has ever gone through. A lot of roller coaster type things because of the type of schedule we played in February. But they're great kids. They hung tough, and I think they're getting their rewards right now.
Well, the emotion in the arena was phenomenal, wasn't it?
It is. The Arkansas, you know, this is a road game for us tonight. We have certainly some great fans, but Arkansas had most of them. And now we go against a team that we've had 2 wars with. We had to have a 19-point comeback, and then we lost at the buzzer down there. Florida's playing as well as any team in the country right now. We've had 2 wars. They've had 2 cakewalks. We can't leave our game on the Arkansas floor.
Intensity, though, might be very much a key. And Florida's been intense. I mean, you said the blowouts, but the reason it was because Florida was so intense.
Well, they play phenomenal defense. Best, one of the top 5 backcourts in the league. Superb center. The round mound, the rebound, Dimitri Hill at the power forward spot, athletic small forwards, and a super coach in Lon Kruger.
But your team all season long has fed off adversity and been able to overcome adversity all season long.
Well, I think adversity makes you stronger. But, you know, we learned from the last Arkansas loss. We're up 15. We got a technical foul. We learned a lot of things, what to do, what not to do, and it helped us win tonight.
Talk a little bit about also Travis Ford, just the leadership he's provided for you.
He's a great little leader on the basketball floor. He's getting the whole team in sync. He's always picking them up. Anthony Epps' backup did a terrific job. So Travis is, if you're in a crucial situation or a crucial game, you want Travis Ford in that game.
It'd be an up-and-down game where you try and speed up the tempo on Florida?
We will, but we haven't been able to do much with that. I think we don't mind playing a possession game right now. We've had 2 pressing. We had a pressing night last night. We won by 20, but a tough game. And tonight we're in a mental war as much as a physical one. So we'll be ready for Florida. We've got great respect for them.
Coach, congratulations on a big win. Good luck in the game.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Rick Pitino's Kentucky Wildcats have been able to overcome all kinds of adversity. Today they try and tackle the Florida Gators. We'll continue with SEC Championship Sunday after this word from your local SEC station. Kentucky matchup. Of course, Arkansas is not here for this championship game. They're the #1 team in the country, but Kentucky ousted them from the tournament yesterday. But Arkansas still will be very much a team to reckon with during the NCAA tournament coming up. The Arkansas Razorbacks had a remarkable regular season, winning the Southeastern Conference Championship. The Hogs, led by the terrific twosome, SEC Player of the Year, Corliss Williamson, and the ever-dangerous and fearless long bombing from Scotty Thurman.
Scotty's range is get him in the gym. If you can get him in the gym, that's his range. And when we have our 3-point shooting drills, they shoot it out there, you know. I let them shoot 2 to 3, sometimes 4 paces behind the 3-point line because a lot of defenses don't cover you out there. They figure, hey, he's not going to shoot that.
Thurman for 3. The answer! Oh, what a shot by Thurman. Scotty Thurman. Ice water in his veins. Thurman off the pick from back. Zone trap again by Arkansas. They lost the ball. Thurman knocked it free, and he'll have the easy one. Look, Scotty Thurman does it again.
coach gives me the freedom to shoot the basketball. You know, I think that's what I do best. So I've just been trying to incorporate a lot of things, you know, like passing, rebounding, you know, to go with it.
Corliss Williamson becomes the first sophomore to win Player of the Year honors in the SEC since the Shaq. He leads the SEC in field goal percentage and power plays.
Thurman with numbers. Trailer to Williamson. Big dunk.
Crawford with a beautiful pass to Williamson for the slam. Oh, nice pass. Two good passes.
I mean, I feel like I had a pretty good season. You know, my teammates do so much and helping me out with that and getting me the ball at the right times. But when I was announced Player of the Year, I mean, I was surprised. And my teammates have been teasing me about it all year. Some of them say, yeah, you can be Player of the Year. But I never did really focus on it. And once I got it, you know, it was a shock, and I was happy about it.
There's not a player that we faced in the entire season, and just because he's my player, there's not a player as good, can do all the things he can do. 6'7", 245 pounds, pound for pound. I don't know of any power forward in the country is any better than Corliss. So it's not so much that he's the best in the Southeast. He's probably the best power forward in the country, and just a sophomore. So I'm not saying he's the best player, but I'm saying he is the best power forward in the country right now.
So now the Arkansas Razorbacks back in Fayetteville, awaiting word today where they will go. At the NCAA tournament, they will be a factor. Now the SEC tournament wraps up today. Our resident expert of the tournament, Tom Hammond, has his views on how this tournament has gone.
Bob, as I think back on this 1994 SEC tournament and season, I'm struck by how rapidly things can change in college basketball. In a game, certainly, we now know you can go from 31 points behind to win, to use an extreme example. In a tournament, 24 hours ago, Memphis was filled with Arkansas fans, most of whom have now gone home. But in a basketball program also, Florida took the right chemistry to move into the top 20. Mississippi State suddenly blended newcomers into a cohesive unit to succeed. Yeah, things can change rapidly. Just ask Vanderbilt. They returned the nucleus of their '93 championship team, and yet they struggled all season long. But who could have predicted the rise of Lon Kruger's Gators, now a top 20 power and headed to the NCAA tournament? Today they appear in the SEC tournament championship game for only the third time in their history, and they've never won a title. But times have changed, and here they are. And in this era when change is the norm, Kentucky's run is even more remarkable. Gone are the days when the Wildcats just rolled out the basketball and counted another SEC championship. Rick Pitino has added to, if that's possible, the Kentucky legend, and here they are with a chance to win their third straight title, 18th overall. If this championship game were a wedding, we've had something old, something new, and for the 25th time, we have Big Blue. Let's take a look now at some memorable moments from the 1994 SEC tournament.
Come on! DeClerq! Beautiful pass. Thurman.
Here he has it. Double team and rejected. Get it out of here, Jason Cappy.
Yeah, and the hits on the other end.
Riddick tries to answer, and Dan Pierce says, take it out of here.
Ford, a long three. Turnover by South Carolina. Turnover by Mississippi. Kick on the floor. Scrum. Rich finds Evans. And we've got a break, thank God. Not textbook at all. Yeah, oh, you're right. Dump down to Anderson. Rejected by Williamson.
Penetration by Ford to McCarty for three. Bethel at the point. Penetrates all the way. Has it rejected by Costner. Swinson runs the floor.
Oh, what a big duck. As the crowd reacts to Al Dillard checking in for the ball game.
You talk about Rainbow Jays, got a few in his arsenal.
Williamson with the pick. Dillard right on cue.
It has been a remarkable tournament, capped off today with a championship game as the Florida Gators take on the Kentucky Wildcats. Should be a fun day of basketball. Sit back and enjoy it, as we'll have all the coverage for you here on Jefferson Pilot Sports. I'm Bob Kessling. Now stay tuned. Tom Hammond and Barry Booker call the Cats and the Gators from the Pyramid.
Final victories. Kentucky held Arkansas to a season's-low 32% shooting, preventing the run-out and playing a suffocating half-court zone that often led to quick offense on the other end. And while the Cats were getting down on defense, Travis Ford held to 3 of 10 shooting in the regular season loss to the Hogs, finished with 15 points and 8 assists. Florida also used a ball-hawking zone, limiting Alabama to 52 points, its lowest total of the season. Alert in the passing lanes, the Gators also used defense to trigger transition baskets en route to its 16-point win. On the half court, Florida went to wide-body Dimitri Hill and Demet Hook, as he was good for 16 points and 9 rebounds. In the SEC title game, a pair of top 20 teams, tradition-rich Kentucky and upstart Florida, coming up next.
Jefferson Pilot Sports presents the best in regional college basketball, the Southeastern Conference. Today's game is brought to you by BP Super 93, BP's best choice in quality gasoline. By Delta Airlines, you'll love the way we fly. By Pizza Hut, who reminds you that any time's a great time to stop and smell the pizza. By MCI, the company that brings you proof positive. And by Nationwide Insurance. Check the yellow pages for the Nationwide agent nearest you.
From the Pyramid in Memphis, it's the Southeastern Conference Tournament Championship game, matching the Kentucky Wildcats and the Florida Gators. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pyramid. Tom Hammond and Barry Booker looking forward to an excellent title game between two teams headed for the NCAA tourney, two top 20 teams, Florida and Kentucky. They finished with identical records, both winning 25 games, and in the regular season they split, each winning at home. In that first meeting, Barry, down in Gainesville, which the Gators won, rebounding was the key.
That's right, and Andrew DeClerq did a great job on the boards for the Gators down in Gainesville. 20 rebounds, and Florida's inside game will be a key today. They can score inside, and the rebounding will be a big factor.
Then in the next to last regular season game, the two met again, this time at Rupp Arena. Kentucky at one time trailed by 19 points, but came from behind with their press to win. That was a great turnaround game for them.
Yes, it was, and you mentioned the pressure defense. 21 turnovers in that game that Kentucky forced, while only getting 15 in Gainesville. So the key for them today is to get the turnovers and to utilize their inside game and work on the Gators down low as well, where stamina may become a factor.
Well, Florida had a little easier time getting to this title game. Will fatigue be a factor today?
I think it could be. And for Kentucky, Rodrick Rhodes has the freshest legs for them after the suspension in the first game and foul trouble forcing him out of most of the first half yesterday. So he's going to be the key for the Kentucky Wildcats.
At stake is the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament and perhaps a bump of a seeding when the tournament pairings are announced. We'll be back with the lineups in just a moment. For Memphis, Tennessee, the Pyramid, where the SEC championship game is about to be played between Florida and Kentucky. Pleased to have Dave Baker with us again. Dave, what are your thoughts before today's game?
Tom, you know, interesting, because of a lack of preparation time, both teams normally like to come out and get up a lot of shots before the game, but both teams were in the locker room for a long period of time today going over X and O's. People wonder who has the advantage. A team like Florida that has not had two as rough games, do they have a physical advantage because they're better rested, or does Kentucky have the advantage from a mental standpoint because they've gotten through two wars? It'll be interesting to see.
Indeed it will, and we're ready to get started with the introduction of our Outback Steakhouse starting lineups. Let's go to our Pyramid public address announcer. Here's Carl Stevens.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Pyramid and the championship game of the 1994 Southeastern Conference Basketball Tournament. This afternoon's game features the University of Kentucky versus the University of Florida. And now for the starting lineups. First for the visiting Kentucky Wildcats. At forward, a 6'9", 210-pound sophomore from Fairmont, West Virginia, number 32, Jared Prickett. At guard, a 6'5", 200-pound senior from Houston, Texas, number 14, Jeff Brasso. At center, a 6'9", 205-pound junior from New York City, number 10, Andre Riddick. At guard, a 5'9", 160-pound senior from Madisonville, Kentucky, number 5, Travis Ford. And at guard, a 6'1", 185-pound sophomore from Brownsville, Tennessee, number 00, Tony Delk. And the head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats, Rick Pitino. And now for the home team, the University of Florida Gators. At forward, a 6'6", 218-pound sophomore from Atlanta, Georgia, number 3, Brian Thompson. At forward, a 6'10", 224-pound junior from Clearwater, Florida, number 55, Andrew DeClerq. At center, a 6'7", 286-pound sophomore from St. Petersburg, Florida, number 35, Dimitri Hill. At guard, a 6'3", 188-pound senior from Steelton, Pennsylvania, number 4, Craig Brown. And at guard, a 6'3", 193-pound junior from Carbondale, Illinois, number 12, Dan Cross. And the head coach of the Florida Gators, Lon Kruger.
And so there you have the starting lineup for today's game. The Gators and the Wildcats will return to the Pyramid for the opening tip right after this. Sizable lead in the series with the Gators, and 6-2 in tournament play. John Clarkerty, Andre Patillo, and Gerald Boudreau selected to work this championship game. Two teams split in the regular season. Kentucky has won 17 SEC tournament championships, Florida 0.
I think the backcourts will offset each other today. Both two of the best backcourts in the country on the court, so watch out for the inside game. Foul trouble could be a problem.
DeClerq inside has it stripped by Brasso.
Kentucky's zone defense effective yesterday. They start in it today.
And Florida begins man-to-man. They zoned Alabama. Brasso throws up an air ball, and Thompson has it for the Gators.
I think the nature of the opponent yesterday forced Florida into a zone defense today with the great three-point shooters. Florida going man-to-man against Kentucky.
Cross over the zone for 3.
Dan Cross, the leading three-point shooter in the conference, and Florida doing a good job attacking that zone so far today.
Cross hits over 48% from the three-point arc. As Barry said, #1 in the SEC.
Florida just an excellent man-to-man defensive team. They switch a lot of cuts and do a great job forcing you to take the outside shot.
Allowing under 70 points on average this season. Florida second best in the SEC. Ford to Prickett. Got the shot away and hit the rim. Riddick with an offensive rebound, misses the putback. Prickett finally got it down. Great work.
Awesome work by the Wildcats, pounding the boards. Prickett and Riddick going after it.
DeClerq again lost it for a moment, saved by Cross.
Kentucky trapping anytime the ball goes inside.
Thompson got his shot away. DeClerq kept it alive. Cross for 3. Rebounded by Prickett. Second board in the first couple of minutes for Jared Prickett.
Kentucky had a lot of trouble yesterday rebounding out of their zone defense, especially early.
Ford penetrates to Delk. His shot there. Just inside the arc, Tony Delk with his first bucket, and Kentucky its first lead.
Tony Delk, Kentucky's leading scorer this year, has played exceptionally well here in the tournament and will need to have another good one today.
DeClerq inside. Rodrick comes over to pick him up. And now back out to Brown. Brown and Cross, two of the best guards in college basketball. Cross can't hit that one, and Travis Ford chases it down for Kentucky. 3 minutes gone by, opening half of this SEC title game. Rodrick to Prickett. He's open from about 18. Somebody, I think, got a piece of it, maybe DeClerq, and Hill has it for Kentucky, or for Florida.
I think he just left it short.
Did he?
Very short.
Hard for me to believe it could be that short.
Not a great outside shooter, not a great foul shooter either. Does most of his work down low with the rebounding and scoring near the basket.
Kentucky's leading rebounder. Dimitri Hill forcing his way inside to draw the foul.
Dimitri Hill has done a very nice job, especially in this tournament, down low, scoring.
Tony Delk commits the first foul as Rodrick Rhodes and Walter McCarty enter the Kentucky lineup for Brasso and Prickett. There's Rodrick Rhodes and Walter McCarty, the sophomore. He's been a sometime starter. Rhodes has started most of the season. You know the story on Rodrick. Suspended for the first tournament game for breaking team rules. Didn't get going yesterday until late in the game, but he was a factor down the stretch for the Wildcats after playing very sparingly in the opening half.
And Rodrick Rhodes gives just about every team in the SEC matchup problems because of his ability to take it to the basket and to post up down low. So if he gets some mismatches, look for him to post up against these Gator guards.
Hill has tied the game at 4. Rhodes with a quick move and a reach-in foul called on Brian Thompson of Florida. The Gators' second foul, first on Thompson.
Rodrick Rhodes comes off the bench and is immediately active. He has disappeared in a few ball games this season for the Wildcats, and he's going to need to be active today. They need his scoring.
That's the first Gator foul. A three. Tony Delk with 5 early points. Kentucky leads by 3.
And Kentucky, as they did yesterday, moves the basketball very well, finding the open man, and Delk knocking down the jumper.
Brown had a big game against Alabama yesterday. Excellent shooting game. Knocked away from Hill. Here's a Kentucky steal.
Settling into a slow-paced game this afternoon. I expect to see Kentucky go to their pressure defense later on.
Prickett short again. Hill had a hand in his face, and Thompson rebounds for the Gators.
Dimitri Hill, a very good defensive player. He's a good basketball player. We talk about his weight a lot and his size, but he is a good basketball player.
Whistle away from the ball. Rodrick Rhodes, first foul.
The Cats can't afford that. Can't afford foul trouble on Rhodes.
Second Wildcat foul. It comes with 15-10 left in the first half, and the Wildcats leading the Gators by 3. Championship game, and you think the Kentucky fans aren't amazing. Yesterday, about 3/4 of this arena was red of Arkansas. Arkansas, the neighboring state, they had filled the pyramid, and yet today it's full of blue. The Kentucky fans have come from out of the woodwork. They bought all the Arkansas tickets, and the place is almost totally blue today. A few Gator fans are here, but it's mostly the Wildcat fans. I assume they drove from the western part of the state to nearby Tennessee and snapped up all the tickets last night. DeClerq follows the Thompson miss. Can't hit it. Thompson still no good. Finally rebounded by Rodrick of Kentucky. Florida really struggling to get it down.
But a good job on the glass to get those attempts. Those will start to fall.
Rodrick low post against Hill. Gives it back to Ford, who finds Delk. That's another 3. This one's short and rebounded by Cross. Hill travels. The third Gator turnover. Kentucky has not committed one yet.
Number 14. Tommy talked about the transformation of this arena and the fans. It's gone from Bud Walton Arena East to Rupp Arena West.
Yes, indeed. I don't know how they got here or how they got the tickets, but they are here today. Some people were speculating yesterday that the arena might be empty today, and they appreciate the nature of the Kentucky fans. Riddick with a slam.
Excellent ball movement, great penetration by Rhodes.
Anderson beat the Kentucky defense down court. That's what the Wildcats were able to eliminate against Arkansas yesterday.
But a different type of opponent today. They want to pressure Florida and try and get those turnovers.
Ford steps just inside the arc and hits his first shot of the game.
Travis Ford starting to assert himself offensively.
Cross coming right back for the Gators and lays it in.
Florida doing a great job handling that full court pressure defense so far. 5
for Cross. Here's Ford driving baseline, stepped out of bounds.
Went a little too far that time.
Well, the NCAA women's invitations for the tournament announced this morning, and 6 Southeastern Conference teams have been invited to the NCAA women's tournament. And at halftime today, we'll have the Volkswagen SEC women's basketball report.
The Florida Lady Gators heading out west as a 4 seed out there.
Florida again handles the pressure defense. On the half court, trailing by 3. Inside DeClerq hit the side of the backboard, then snaps it away from Riddick. A held ball is called. Possession arrow will award it to Kentucky.
And DeClerq stays after it. And Patino a little upset. He's going to take Riddick out. DeClerq a little too far under the basket, hits the side of the backboard with his turnaround, but just snatches it away from Riddick. Kentucky maintains possession as Riddick goes to the bench.
Riddick lucky was called a held ball because DeClerq just about had control. Here's Cross called for a foul that he doesn't like. He throws his arms in disgust. His first. Ron Kruger's Gators with 2 team fouls now.
Travis Ford trying to make a little curl cut, and he and Cross got tangled.
Mel Martinez has replaced Riddick. Here he is on the high post, finding Ford for the 3. Prickett with an offensive rebound. Ford will launch again. Same result. This time it's Jason Anderson for the Gators.
Florida in their zone defense on the inline out of bounds situation.
DeClerq off the lob. The alley-oop pass was there. Good catch by Andrew from Anderson.
Sweet pass and nice recognition. They look to the backside against that 2-3 zone and lob over.
Rhodes surrounded by white jerseys. On the floor, still loose. Now Cross has it. Gators with numbers. DeClerq shoots over Prickett. Short. Never got above the rim. Slapped away from Prickett, however. DeClerq to Hill. Hill powers it up and in.
Coach Patino wants a foul. A lot of contact as the Gators just go after the basketball and jar it free from Kentucky.
Florida retakes the lead. Brasso for 3.
Brasso wide open. A set play. Comes off the screen from Prickett, and Brasso drills the 3-pointer.
Kentucky back in front. Kentucky's hit 2 of its first 6 3-point shots. In the paint, Florida with a 2-point edge.
The Gators appear to be a little more aggressive than Kentucky as expected.
Brasso deflected the pass away from Hill. Florida will have it with 11 left on the shot clock as we take a timeout.
Here's Jason Anderson throwing a nice lob pass to Andrew DeClerq. And the Gators hanging in there, down by 2.
In part by Siemens. For leading-edge technologies in electronic and electrical engineering, depend on Siemens precision thinking. From the Pyramid in Memphis, SEC championship game. Kentucky leading Florida 14-12. Yesterday's Kentucky-Arkansas game had a Final Four atmosphere and Final Four plays. Look at the record set. 16 three-pointers was the tournament record for Kentucky. Most attempts by the two teams combined. And Tony Delk with 23 launches behind the three-point line. Today, the Wildcats have put up 6 in the early going, hitting 2 of them. Florida's only tried 2, succeeding once. Dimitri Hill over Martinez. Good body control with a big guy, 290 pounds.
Great body control. He is a good athlete.
Marty Kwiesma into the Florida lineup. Walter McCarty for Kentucky. Brasso, a three-pointer. Jeff Brasso's second trade.
And once again, you see Kentucky moving the basketball very effectively.
Oh! And an answering 2 by Anderson. Jason Anderson with 4 points off the Florida bench.
Gators handling the pressure defense so far, scoring.
Dimitri Hill just rocked Jeff Brasso and is called for the foul. Brasso cutting across the lane, jolted Brasso.
And here's Florida on their offensive end, cutting to the basket. Hill going up, getting contact, and dropping it home. And now against the pressure, Florida taking it to the basket strong as Jason Anderson bangs it in off the glass.
Dimitri Hill sitting down and getting a little lecture from Lon Kruger after picking up that foul.
Gators like to step out and bump the cutters.
Brasso misses the 3. He's 2 of 4 now, but a putback by McCarty. Kentucky's lead is 3. Kwiesma. Rimmed out. Anderson fouled as he goes up.
Florida almost gets some assistance from the Wildcats on this play. As Kwiesma off on his attempt. But Brasso almost knocks it in before Anderson comes up with a rebound. And both teams doing a great job early on the offensive glass.
Foul on Martinez. Sends Anderson to the line for 2. In the ACC tournament in Charlotte, North Carolina. 6 up on Virginia. And in Madison Square Garden, Providence leading Georgetown by 4 in the Big East championship game. Anthony Epps, who has replaced Travis Ford for Kentucky, with a lane violation.
I think a Gator violated as well.
Must have. I think it's a double lane violation, so the possession arrow decides it, and it gives it to Florida. That's an odd play.
Very odd.
Another foul away from the ball. A hold on Martinez, his second straight foul.
44-year holding, says John Clockerty. And Martinez continues to attract the fouls.
What'd you call him yesterday? A foul magnet?
A foul magnet.
Andre Riddick for Kentucky. Dan Cross is the only starter in the game for the Gators at the moment. Derkelboten with a bullet pass from Cross is fouled. Svein Derkelboten from Norway will step to the line. First foul on Riddick.
And the Florida Gators continuing to pound the ball inside. A sweet pass from Tiny Williams as Derkelboten takes it to the basket strong.
That was Williams that made the pass. Greg Williams, they call him Tiny, from Fairfax, Virginia, freshman. Broke Tommy Amaker's Woodson High School assist record. 600 of them there. Was the #1 scorer, too, at Fairfax, Virginia. Tommy Amaker, you remember, went on to play at Duke.
The Gators get quality minutes from their reserve big people, Derkelboten and Kwiesma. They don't get a lot of points. So they just want to kind of hang on and tread water with these subs in the game.
It's a 1-point Wildcat lead. cut off. Inside to Riddick. Good pass from Anthony Epps.
Anthony Epps has been superb of late for the Wildcats, spelling Travis Ford. The coaching staff has an awful lot of confidence in Epps.
Rarely played early in the season and really has blossomed the latter part of his freshman campaign.
Kentucky now the full court pressure, and they drop back into the 2-3.
Derkelboten lost it, but it's saved by Anderson.
Shot clock at 5.
Cross has it blocked by Riddick.
Andre Riddick, the leading shot blocker in the SEC, and here's Anthony Epps giving him an opportunity to score. Riddick goes up strong.
Only 2 to shoot. Derkelboten got it up and in. Big play.
Great job by Florida in that situation, and Kentucky having trouble playing it in.
Grasso saves it back to Epps. 8:44 left in the first half. Kentucky's lead 1 over the Gators. On the floor, McCarty lost it. Epps fighting with Anderson, and a held ball call. This time the possession arrow pointing Kentucky's way.
Kentucky sends at number 32, Jared Prickett.
Great hustle on both sides there. Epps getting on the floor. A couple of Gators going down trying to get the basketball.
Jared Prickett returns for the Wildcats. And for Florida, Rhodes back. Craig Brown is back for Florida, and so is DeClerq. So is Hill. Prickett cut off by DeClerq. He finds Rhodes. Three-pointer.
When Rodrick Rhodes starts hitting that three-point shot, he's almost impossible to guard.
His first basket of the game.
Only a 25% three-point shooter, but he penetrates extremely well, can post up, and when he gets it going inside and out, he is tough.
Fourth tray of the Wildcats. They're 4 of 9. Riddick deflected inside. Florida will have the ball when we return with 12 seconds to shoot. The Wildcats leading the Gators by 4. Here's a look at an MCI proof positive replay.
The Florida Gators with just 2 seconds on the shot clock. Kentucky in a man-to-man, so you send a big cutter to the basket, and Spain Derkelboten gets it down, and that's proof positive that in that situation you want to get a shot going to the basket and get it down.
It's a big play with only 2 seconds on the shot clock. 3 lead changes in the first half, 2 ties thus far. Kentucky's biggest lead has been 5. Florida's been up by 3. Wildcats hitting 10 of 20, 50%. Florida 8 of 18, 44%. Rebounds all even at 10 apiece.
Shot clock inside 10.
Brown, the jump stop, the jump shot, and 2. His first basket.
Both Craig Brown and Dan Cross go to the basket extremely well, and that pull-up jumper has been very effective for both of them.
Epps continues to play the point for Kentucky. Travis Ford getting plenty of rest during the first half. Riddick. Defense collapses on him, so he finds Delk for 3.
Good ball movement by the Wildcats continues. Tony Delk getting the open jumper.
Delk, the game's top scorer with 8 points. He has hit 2 of 3 from three-point range. DeClerq spins the left-hander, won't go. Delk has the rebound.
Good D by Riddick. Force him out, force him into a tough shot.
got it from Rodrick. He tries to save it off him, but can't. Kentucky turns it over for the 4th time.
Kentucky sends in number 5, Travis Ford, for number 25, Anthony Ellis.
Ron Kruger has done a great job with this Florida Gator program. 2 NIT bids in a row, and this season they have been outstanding. 25-6, tying for the SEC East Division title, and on their way to the big dance.
And SEC Coach of the Year. You see Kentucky has turned it over one more time, then have the Gators.
I think the Gators today are playing for an SEC tournament title, of course, and also possible number 3 seed in the tournament.
Probably headed for a 4th seed. Unless they win today, they could be as high as 3. Rodrick saved it, but right to Florida. Shot on its way by Thompson is an air ball that Delk collars for Kentucky. And a shot clock violation called on the Gators because the ball did not hit the rim.
Andre Rodrick is an intimidator. He comes out at Brian Thompson and about scares him to death. Throws it over the basket.
Kentucky stakes would be probably a number 3 seed. Unless they win today, they could be a number 2 seed.
A lot of upsets in college basketball yesterday with 6 of the top 8 losing.
Rhodes with a great pass to Prickett, who laid it in, and Kentucky has its largest lead. Cross trapped, travels, jumped in the air, and came back down for the turnover.
Well, Kentucky's pressure effective early, and also they're doing a great job taking the ball inside, and Jared Prickett has been strong down low for the Wildcats.
Then Brown came down with a basketball, which is called a travel, and Gators have turned it over 5 times. Lob from Ford to Prickett that hit the basket. Rodrick came down with the offensive rebound, and a foul will be called on DeClerq of Florida. His first foul.
Travis Ford almost got 3 points for that pass.
That's DeClerq's first personal foul and 14th foul.
Ford was too much on target.
He found his target eventually, but not in the conventional fashion.
Florida sends in number 5, Jason Anderson, for number 3, Brian.
Announcers for this game selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. Any use of the broadcast without the express permission of the Southeastern Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited. Delk triggers it in to Ford. Delk leaves it for Rodrick for the slam. Tony Delk with a beautiful pass, and Rodrick a baseline slam. He has 6 points in the early going. Cross dribbles his way out of danger. And a reach-in foul called on Rodrick Rhodes of Kentucky. His second foul.
Kentucky is destroying the Gator 2-3 zone with dribble penetration by Tony Delk there to get it to Andre Rodrick for the dunk. The Wildcats taking it inside strong and doing a great job attacking the zone.
That was a sweet pass from Tony Delk as they're on a 10-2 run. Rhodes sits down after committing his second foul. 4:41 left in the half. 6 fouls against Kentucky. The Gators have committed 4.
The Gators very effective in their 2-3 yesterday against Alabama, but a different story against the Wildcats. They're only going to it on the in-line out-of-bounds situation.
And another Florida miscue. This one, an illegal screen set by Dimitri Hill.
Dimitri Hill, that's his second personal.
Second foul on Hill.
And the big man is coming out. Dimitri Hill trying to post up and shield Prickett, and he gets one of those big arms out there and holds him out a little too much.
Well, Kentucky returns the favor, and then, well, they say knocked out of bounds by Kentucky. Looked like Dirkelboten had tried to pass it to Cross, and the ball sailed out of bounds, but they say last touch by a Wildcat.
It was knocked away by the Wildcats. A good call.
Kentucky's defense has been playing well this zone. In fact, 3 of the last 5 Florida trips down court. The shot clock has gone to 5 seconds before the Gators can get a shot attempt up.
And Florida has been a good team against zones this year, as has Arkansas, so Kentucky doing a great job.
Shot clock to 4. Brown, a three-pointer, no good, air ball, and a shot clock violation. There's that good zone defense for the Wildcats. Timeout with 3:50 left in the first half. Kentucky up 31-22. The last 6 possessions for the Florida Gators have been disastrous. 3:50 left in the first half. Their last bucket was at 7:30. Their last 6 possessions have been 4 forced shots with a shot clock ticking down and 2 turnovers.
Having trouble penetrating that zone defense, and what they need is a little dribble penetration. They need to try and pass the ball to the middle of the zone, take it into the post as well, and then pass out of the double teams.
And the shooting by Florida continues to suffer. Good Wildcat defense, holding them to 39%, while the Wildcats succeeding at a 57 and climbing rate. Brasso off the good lob pass, pounds it through, and Kentucky has its biggest lead.
Brasso, the three-point shooter, showing a little post-up ability.
Brown works his way baseline, misses from in close. DeClerq missed a tap. Out of bounds. Brasso tried to bounce it off a Florida man and does, off Jason Anderson.
Jared Prickett outside and Jeff Brasso inside. That's a change, but it works for the Wildcats.
Brasso with a good defensive play, too, bouncing it off Jason Anderson. And the Wildcats, with just over 3 minutes left, take possession with an 11-point lead. Deflected out of bounds by Anderson. Kentucky not looking fatigued or sluggish at all as they come out against the Gators. Many thought, especially emotionally after the big win over Arkansas yesterday and a tough flight from Mississippi State earlier, that Wildcats might be a little flat. That's not the case.
Oh, they're looking very good early.
Brasso threw one up there. The shot clock had 5 seconds left. He had time. And it results in a Rodrick foul over the back. Second foul on Andre.
His second personal foul.
A big play by the Florida band. They counted the shot clock down. It was winding down, and Brasso believed that it was heading to 0.
There's the assist for the Gator band.
Good defense.
Sustained Urkelbogen will step to the free throw line for the Gators, shooting 1+1 for the first time in the game. 7th Kentucky foul. Gators have committed 5. Rolls in off the front rim. Kentucky has not shot a free throw. That's 4 out of 6 for the Gators.
See Urkelbogen's name there, nicknamed the eye chart by his teammates.
Find a vowel in that name.
10 letters, 2 vowels.
10-point lead. Ford whips it inside to McCarty. The pass was slightly deflected, I think. He fumbled it and is called for traveling. Ford made the good pass. Slightly went awry. Brown pulls up with a quick jump shot. Craig Brown starting to heat up. He has 4.
The Gators, a sneaky running team. They catch the Wildcats looking at the officials and run on them.
Off the ball, Kentucky foul called. Walter McCarty. First foul on McCarty. And back to the Florida line for 1+1.
Kentucky foul is on number 40, Walter McCarty. That's his first personal
Wildcats have gotten 8 points off 7 Florida miscues, which doubles the Florida points off turnovers.
7's not a bad number of turnovers for the Gators. I think they can live with that. They're having trouble scoring.
Trying to decide who's going to shoot now as...
Well, look who's talking.
Better get Travis out of there.
Travis Ford knows all about this.
I wouldn't trust him. even when the other team's shooting. It's Dan Cross, and he misses. Academic.
We are, of course, only kidding. Travis Ford disciplined earlier this season in a foul shoot switching scandal.
Anderson with a hold on Tony Delk. First foul on Anderson. They called it on Dirkle. Well, that surprised me. I thought they called it on Anderson.
Trying to play a little post defense. It's Dirkelboten with a hand around the back against Cricket.
Off the ball. Grasso ducks under, had the shot, passed it up. McCarty has it swiped by Anderson. Brown feeds DeClerq, gets it back. Nice fake, steps up, can't hit. DeClerq nudged it in.
The Gators pounding the boards. They're having trouble scoring, but when it gets on the glass, they're doing a nice job going after it.
Inside the 130 mark as Delk pulls up too hard. DeClerq knocked it to his teammate Craig Brown. Gators trying to launch a run here before halftime. Traveling call, Craig Brown of Florida.
The Gators with a little dribble penetration. Craig Brown along the baseline for a nice open shot, and DeClerq goes after it on the glass. Gets the easy tip in for the Gators.
DeClerq had 20 rebounds, his career high in the win over Kentucky and Gainesville. He has 4 in the first half here. Chris Harrison in the game for Kentucky for the first time.
And the Wildcats running the shot clock down. It's a 10 right now.
McCarty for 3. Harrison kept it alive. Grasso had a hand on it, but it went out of bounds.
And Walter McCarty launches a 3 as the Florida band once again counts down the shot clock a little prematurely.
It'll be their last chance. It'll be the Kentucky band under the basket next half.
About a 2-second differential in shot clock and game clock. The Gators are going to hold for 1, says Craig Brown.
Shot clock on the left, game clock on the right. Kentucky with a 6-point lead. Ford got a hand on it, out of bounds. 2.8 left. Good. Shot clock violation as the shot clock went off before the shot could get underway, and Ford prevented any shot, so Kentucky gets the ball and one last gasp effort. Ford turned and fired, but way short, and the half will come to an end. Well, Kentucky leading most of the way, but the Gators staying in striking distance. Rick Pitino and the Wildcats up 33-27 on the Florida Gators in this SEC championship game. So 20 minutes remain to decide the SEC tournament champion. 33-27 Wildcats at intermission.
SEC basketball is brought to you by your local Agri Center dealer, coming through for you. By Gillette Sensor and the Gillette Series. Gillette, the best a man can get. By the Die-Hard battery, now with more power when you need it most. And by MCI, the company that brings you proof positive.
Championship game, Kentucky on top 33-27. Yesterday Kentucky hit 16 3-point shots in the first half. The Cats have hit 5. They lead the Gators by 6 at halftime. I'm Bob Kessling, and welcome to halftime here at the Pyramid. It's been another great year of Southeastern Conference basketball. Tom Hammond has a look at his players of the year in the conference.
Well, Bob, you get an idea of how tough it is to pick 5 players by position by looking at who is not on the team, like Scotty Thurman and Travis Ford. But anyway, here's a look at our all-SEC team, our Delta SEC Players of the Year. start in the backcourt with a strong candidate for Conference Player of the Year, Dan Cross of Florida, who keyed the rejuvenation of the Gators. Cross had a complete arsenal of acrobatic offensive moves to unleash on unsuspecting opponents and hit for nearly 16 a game. He also did the job defensively, finishing third in SEC steals. But when it came to the three-point line, don't cross Dan. He led the league, hitting over 48% behind the arc. Last year, Billy McCaffrey led Vanderbilt to the SEC regular season championship and was co-player of the year. But the Commodores were disappointing this season, and some blamed Billy Mack. But though his shooting percentages were down, you must consider he was the focus of opposing defenses. Despite that, McCaffrey, in league games only, was the top SEC scorer, with 4 assists as well, accounting for over 30 points a game. At first glance, Aaron Swinson might not make your all-league team, playing for last-place Auburn and in the shadow of teammate Wesley Person. But a close examination leaves no doubt that he belongs. Get this, second in SEC scoring, second in field goal percentage, fourth in rebounding. He could put the ball on the floor, he could slam, he could shoot, and all that. Plus, he played a little D as well. Yep, make Aaron Swinson a member of the team. The last two are easy. In the great tradition of the Rifleman, we bring you, well, the Rifleman 2, Wesley Person, who followed his older brother Chuck to Auburn and nearly equaled his career, leading the SEC overall in scoring. While Chuck still leads the all-time Auburn scoring parade, little brother actually had a higher career average. And when it came to the tray, no person was better, Auburn's all-time leader. And the best for last. What can you say about a player who displays a rare combination of power and finesse? You can say Corliss Williamson of Arkansas. Just a sophomore, the man-child can be unstoppable. Posted inside, maybe running the floor on the break. Or perhaps just sticking the jump shot. With the Razorbacks' wealth of depth, you must share playing time. But Williamson's points per minute played put him head and shoulders above the pack. He can dominate a game. Corliss Williamson, our SEC Player of the Year.
A look at Tom Hammond's All-SEC team. At halftime of the championship game, Kentucky on top of Florida, and we'll continue at halftime from the Pyramid in just a moment. We're named to that field today, including Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, and the Florida Lady Gators. The NCAA Women's Tournament starts on Wednesday. Here at the SEC Men's Tournament, Kentucky on top of Florida, and our championship game at halftime, and we'll return after these messages from the SEC. Came on to beat Southern Miss 69-61. Also in the Big East title game, second half, Providence on top of Georgetown, and in the ACC, Virginia, North Carolina tied 51-51 in the second half. Here at the SEC tournament, no player in double figures in the first half. Kentucky leads at halftime. Tom Hammond, Barry Booker have the second half coming up in just a moment.
For the second half of this championship game, Kentucky went through a 3.5-minute drought to the end of the half, allowing Florida to cut into an 11-point lead. But the Wildcats still up by 7, or by 6 it is, as we get ready to start the second half. And as we look at our fourth halftime stats, Barry, the Kentucky defense, the dominant force in that first 20 minutes of play.
Kentucky has done a great job defensively, out of the zone mainly, limiting Florida to just 39% shooting, and they are moving the ball extremely effectively, shooting 50% from the field themselves, not getting to the foul line, however, and Florida not taking advantage when they have gotten to the foul line. Kentucky throwing up those threes again, doing a good job. It was Brasso on fire from deep. Kentucky moving the basketball. There's McCarty delivering to Brasso, banging home that three-pointer. And for the Gators, they haven't had enough of this. Dan Cross going to the basket, and this is against the Kentucky press. Kentucky hadn't gotten a lot out of their pressure defense, and Florida scoring against it. The Florida Pep Band making a couple of big defensive plays here early in the first half today, counting down the shot clock, tricking the Wildcats into taking shots prematurely.
And so we're ready for the second half to decide the SEC tournament champion. Kentucky leading Florida here at intermission. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment.
Pilot Sports' exclusive coverage of SEC basketball is brought to you by Delta Airlines. You'll love the way we fly. By the all-new Ford Mustang. It is what it was. by BC Powder. No matter where you're hurting, nothing works faster than BC Powder. By Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. Can your beer do this? And by the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company. The vision to power your dreams.
Kentucky with a 6-point lead as we start the second half from the Pyramid in Memphis of this SEC championship game. Let's go to the sideline and Dave Baker.
Tom, you know, it's been a situation. A couple of big guys for both teams have not contributed a whole lot in this first half. Dimitri Hill only played 13 minutes. Could be feeling a little fatigue in this, his third game in as many days. It also could be the fact that he's got 2 fouls, but he's only got a couple of rebounds. On the other side for Kentucky, Jamel Martinez suffered a broken nose in yesterday's game. They had to reset that nose, and he said it felt like somebody put a harpoon through his face. He's only played 3 minutes and doesn't have a single board.
All right, Dave, I remember in the game yesterday that he had cotton stuffed in one of the nostrils. I didn't realize until you reported that day that it was broken. So a painful experience for Jamel Martinez, who has been bothered with nagging injuries throughout his career. In fact, this senior class of Kentucky is like a MASH unit. Jeff Brasso has had, what, 3 knee operations. Travis Ford has had his knee and leg problems. And Jamel Martinez, a lot of nagging injuries. Florida with possession to start the second half, and the Gators have their starting 5. DeClerq, Thompson, Hill, Cross, and Brown. Kentucky has Ford, Brasso, Prickett, Rodrick, and Delk. The Wildcats starting quintet.
The Gators developing a new personality.
They immediately go right inside to Dimitri Hill. Uses the left hand. Pull the Gators within 4.
Gators hammering it inside all day. I meant to say Kentucky developing a new personality, becoming a zone defensive team and a half-court offensive team.
Delk can't hit the baseline jumper. Brown with a quick outlet to Cross.
And a good start of the second half for the Florida Gators. They score, play good defense, and now have a chance to pull within 2 or 1 with a 3-point basket.
The impressive thing about the Kentucky zone is it doesn't really collapse when the ball goes inside. The outside people are still there to challenge the 3-point shot. Hill got the roll, but it was going to go down, but I think a Florida player, DeClerq, hit it while it was in the net. Now, this will be an interesting call. This could nullify what I think was going to be a basket. It was hit in the net by DeClerq, I believe.
The ball has to clear the net before it's a basket. And I think it was Brian Thompson that got a hand on it and smacked it out of the net back up through the basket. So they've given Florida the basket, however, on the scoreboard. Hill with that hook. And it's DeClerq and Thompson there swatting the basketball. The Gators get the basket.
And they're within 2. Look at it from a different angle.
The nice hook by Dimitri Hill. Brian Thompson gets a hand on it.
Should that have been no basket since it was a Florida player that hit it?
I think it should be no basket if the ball does not clear the net. And it did not.
Gators got away with one there, and they're within 2.
And the Gators trying their zone defense, which wasn't very effective for them. They only go to it on the in-line, out-of-bounds situations. But Kentucky has really done a good job attacking it. I think they've been working on their own zone defense, and going against it in practice makes them a better zone team.
Rhodes with a good dish to Rodrick, and he'll shoot 2 fouls. Well, here on the sideline, the Associate Commissioner John Guthrie of the Southeastern Conference and retired official Don Shea. Shea on the left, Guthrie on the right, grading the officials. Wonder what they thought about that swipe of the ball in the net.
Florida's
Andre Roddick will shoot 2 free throws. He's looked much better in this tournament. As you know, he's probably you know, he's a 30% or so free throw shooter during the regular season.
We've seen him bottom several free throws during this tournament.
Already up to 37%. That's an increase of 4 points since the tournament started. Kentucky with full court pressure.
2 for 2 there and getting a rise from the Kentucky faithful.
Wildcats by 4. Good work by Cross for a moment. And once he got it in the front court, he lost it. Promptly turned it over for the 10th Florida turnover of the game.
Gators did a nice job in the first half handling the Kentucky pressure. They moved the ball well against the pressure. Cross trying to dribble through it that time.
Shot clock under 10. Rhodes has it taken away by Cross. Cross in a foot race with Delk and Ford, lays it up and in. Pretty work by Dan Cross.
Beautiful job by Cross. Good hand and a nice job taking it to the basket against those two Kentucky defenders.
2-point game. Delk coming off a screen. That shot will not count. A foul before he got the shot up.
Andre Riddick with an illegal screen on that play, and Dan Cross, nice reach in and take away. He looks like he's in a little trouble. A lot of traffic as he's going to the basket, but he splits Ford and Delk to get the layup.
So Riddick with the illegal screen goes to the bench with 3 fouls. Walter McCarty is on for Riddick. Wiesma for the Gators gets it to Dimitri Hill. 3-on-1. Ford the only man back, but they can't get it to the rim. Cross from 15.
Good shot by Cross, and the Gators did a nice job handling the pressure that time, passing through it.
And the game is tied.
They got to the end of their fast break and had the wrong guy with the ball in his hands. Dimitri Hill didn't handle that 3-on-1 situation very well.
Last tie was with 11:15 left in the first half at 14-14. Cricket cut off, back to Ford. His three-pointer bottom.
Travis Ford knocking in another 3, and the Gators doubling down on Kentucky in their inside game.
Kentucky forcing the turnover. Walking call on Kruger's Dan Cross. By the way, I'm glad we had that shot of Guthrie and Shea at the side table. We understand now from them that the ball only has to clear the rim. It does not have to clear the net. So that was the correct call. Correct call giving Florida the basket. It does not have to clear the net. Okay. Delk for 3. No good. Out of bounds to Florida.
Dan Cross needs to pass against this pressure defense instead of trying to dribble and handle all this pressure alone.
That Ford 3 was the end of a long Kentucky drought. 7 minutes extending back to the first half without a Wildcat bucket. Brown for 3. Cricket with a rebound. He tried to get it to Delk and threw it to Cross instead. Diagonal pass. Layup no good. Cricket with a rebound, this time out on the dribble.
Block shot by McCarty on that attempt by Thompson.
Rhodes, three-pointer. Got up in the air and back down through. Wow.
Shooter's roll for Rodrick Rhodes.
And suddenly Kentucky back up 6 on the strength of back-to-back three-pointers. They're 2 for 2 in the second half. Floater is good by Craig Brown. The pace heating up in this championship tilt. The lead is 4. Rhodes again, another one.
Rodrick Rhodes is a hot man, knocking down a couple of three-pointers in a row.
And for the game, Kentucky now 8 of 17. 8 3-point baskets. Hill muscling his way inside, and McCarty trying to stop him. Cannot do it. That is a mismatch. Much has been made of the lack of bulk on Walter McCarty. Weighs only 210 pounds. Outweighed 80 pounds by Brian Hill. And we'll have a timeout. 14:51 left. Kentucky leading by 7. Back after this from Miller Lite. Controversy continues as we take a look at an MCI-proof positive replay.
Well, here's Florida taking it inside to Dimitri Hill with the meat hook that's going to go in. But one of his teammates knocks it out. before it clears the net. And we're still a little confused as to whether the ball has to clear the net or clear the rim to be counted. But it's proof positive, I think, that the officials know more about the rules than I do.
Well, we just went during the timeout and asked John Guthrie and Don Shea about it, and they said, when we asked them directly, that it must clear the net. And it looked, as we saw the replay, that it didn't even clear the rim, for that matter. So it actually should not have been a Florida basket. Well, if we're this confused, can you imagine trying to call it as you see it without benefit of the replay? But it didn't look like it cleared the rim or the net. And anyway, it is supposed to clear the net. That is the final word on it.
Baby, where you at, baby?
So we return to our original statement that Florida got away with one.
All right. Well, officiating is a very difficult task. I have been very impressed with the officiating here at the tournament. This is a very difficult job, and I wouldn't care to do it.
Ron Clarkerty, one of the deans of officiating, a Final Four official, championship game official. Pushing foul called on the Gators.
And here are the guards. The guard played very critical here today. We thought it offset, and Florida ahead by 2 points in that category with the guard scoring.
Florida managed to tie the game, but Kentucky has spurted clear again, and here's a Gator foul. It'll be 2 straight on Sven Derkelboat.
We're talking about the officials and the officiating a little bit ago. You talk about something being harder than it looks. That's the officiating. Very difficult. Backside, Marty.
Grasso for 3. Good board work by McCarty on the offensive glass. Cricket tried to lob it to Rhodes, made a good catch, scored, and won.
And Florida Kentucky continues their successful attack against the Florida zone defense. Here's a high lob to Rodrick Rhodes. Quizma sees it coming, reacts to it, but can't knock the ball away as Rodrick Rhodes just goes up over him and gets it and puts it in.
Florida tied the game at 35. Since then, Kentucky has outscored the Gators 9-2. Similar to the Arkansas game yesterday when the Razorbacks kept coming back, but Kentucky always had an answer.
Slowed it down again in the half-court game, trying to find a solution to this Kentucky zone defense.
Under 10 on the shot clock. Williams. And no solution is forthcoming. Another forced Gator shot that misses from long range. And McCarty has the rebound. Cricket, low post, Derkelboat moves under him with a left hand short, and Derkelboat clears the rebound.
Good D by Derkelboat. Florida had been double teaming when the ball had gone to the post earlier. They play man-to-man inside that time, and it's successful for them. Kentucky reining in those three-pointers when Florida double teams down low.
Williams penetrates back to Quizma. And once again, we reach 10 on the shot clock. Anderson lost it. Attempted save by Derkelboat, no good. And Kentucky will get another turnover. That's a dozen against the Gators. This Kentucky zone defense has given first Arkansas and now Florida absolute fits.
Unbelievable. We've seen Kentucky play it at times this season, but they've gone to it and completely changed their personality, going to the zone defense and playing a half-court offensive game.
Three-pointer by Rhodes. No good. Prickett saves it for the Wildcats. Now Ford for three. Yes!
Kentucky doing nice work on the offensive board.
They have their biggest lead. Wildcat foul, Walter McCarty. Well, just like they put Doc Glidden's K's up for strikeouts, the threes up for the Wildcats. And they have hit 9 of 20 three-pointers today, 45%, coming off that record-setting 16-tray effort against Arkansas yesterday. Timeout, 11:51 left. Kentucky up 50-37 on the Gators. Pizza Hut, delivery of the game.
And Kentucky continuing to look for the three-point shooting opportunities. Rodrick Rhodes, who has been hot outside, missing. And the ball bouncing on the floor. Florida doing a great job with the block out, but eventually someone has to go get the basketball as Kentucky swings it around. Rhodes delivering to Ford for the three-pointer, and that's our Pizza Hut delivery of the game. Rodrick Rhodes swinging it to Travis Ford. Travis says, good pass. Thank you very much.
And credit to Jared Prickett for coming in there to grab the ball. He has 7 rebounds in the game. Kentucky's leading board man. The Wildcats continue to play excellent basketball. Their press is also starting to bother Florida a little bit.
Kentucky in a man-to-man, and that's working as well.
Rhodes took it away. Ford for three. And Hill with a strong rebound. Brasso fouled him. Dimitri Hill grabbed it with authority.
Dimitri goes up and puts those hands on it, and Brasso cannot knock it away. But defensively for Kentucky, everything they've tried has worked today, and they've been very aggressive. And that's the key. Doesn't matter what defense you're in, as long as you're aggressive, it's going to work.
Meeting at Rupp Arena, Kentucky came from 19 down to Florida to win. We'll see if the Gators can have their own comeback here. That's a start. Dan Cross with a baseline jumper. He has 11.
That's what Florida needs to do more of. A little dribble penetration and pull-up shots by Cross and Brown.
Brasso, nice feed to Prickett, but he put the ball on the floor. That's where he made his mistake, and it's taken by Hill.
4 Gators surround him and force the turnover.
Kuzma for three. Ford has it for Kentucky. Travis Ford in a hurry. Florida back very well on defense. Lob to Martinez. Prickett made the pass. Martinez made the score.
Nice pass by Prickett.
Williams lost it. Rhodes to Travis Ford and Martinez.
Ball movement once again. Ford could have taken a tough three-point shot, but he gives it up for the easier attempt.
And Martinez with his 3rd foul.
Kentucky pressure defense paying dividends for them as they go up 15, and also some nice passing. Jamel Martinez showing some low post play, and Ford swinging it around to Martinez as Kentucky continues to get great shots.
Gators against the Kentucky pressure. Florida has turned it over 14 times. Now the Wildcats drop back into their zone. Anderson, baseline spin, ran right into Prickett. Good help defense. Prickett picks off the rebound. Rhodes for three. Rodrick Rhodes having a big game, 15 points. Anderson can't answer. Here's DeClerq off the offensive board. Yes, and a Kentucky foul.
Good job by DeClerq going after the basketball. Here's a three-point attempt from Anderson along the wing. DeClerq blocks out, gets position on Rhodes, and goes and gets it, drawing the foul against Prickett. The DeClerq, the big board man, and the win at Florida. He's going to need to do some work today to get the Florida Gators back in it.
Jared Prickett, Kentucky's leading rebounder, leaving as McCarty comes in. Rhodes has also gone out. Rodrick is back. Here's big Andrew DeClerq, 6'10".
DeClerq at the line.
Junior from Clearwater.
With 9:36 to play, down 16, Florida needs to take advantage of every opportunity at this point.
Missed the free throw, however, and the Wildcats' lead is still 16. Past the midway point of the second half. Rodrick spins to Brasso, who missed the shot, and an offensive foul called on Kentucky.
The Kentucky fouls on number 4.
McCarty is the one that made the move in the foul. Here he is spinning. McCarty runs right into Hill. Hill went down. I'm not so sure you can knock Dimitri Hill down, but he did, and McCarty has the foul. 4 on McCarty, and 1+1 now at the Florida free throw line. Prickett walks back to the court.
I think you need an elephant gun to knock Dimitri Hill down.
I like him, though. He's always got a smile on his face. He's endured all kinds of insults, especially from opposing student bodies and sometimes from the TV announcers. And he never ceases to have a smile on his face. He's lost 60 pounds, and he's been an integral part of this fine Florida season. Here's Andre Rodrick picking up his 4th foul, so Kentucky's inside foul woes continue to mount. McCarty just left with 4, now Rodrick has 4.
And now on this foul shot, DeClerq going after the ball, keeping it alive, and Rodrick trying to tackle Hill.
He was like a gnat on Hill's back. Couldn't get the roll. Delk has the rebound. That's 9 Kentucky fouls, and Florida with a steal. Delk knocked it away from Cross. Cross on the floor. Now Brasso. Brasso got it to Delk. Great Kentucky hustle. And DeClerq on the floor for Florida. Out of bounds, Florida's way.
Bodies strewn all over the court here.
I thought I heard somebody say this game didn't mean anything.
SEC title on the line as Florida tries to attack the basket. It's knocked away. There's Cross and Brasso, 2 bodies on the floor. Delk almost goes down. DeClerq diving for the ball, Ford on his back, Anderson on the floor, Delk on the floor. The Gators get the ball.
Here's the final score in Charlotte. North Carolina holds on to beat Virginia to take the ACC Tournament Championship. And the defending national champion Tar Heels likely to be a #1 seed. Cross, back rim, Hill with a strong board, and Rodrick has just fouled out.
Kentucky foul number 10.
Well, it's Andre Rodrick trying to battle Dimitri Hill all day long. Cross long on his 3-pointer. Looks like Hill is pushing off a little bit, and Rodrick has a hand tangled with Dimitri Hill and ends up with the foul.
So Andre Rodrick with the dubious distinction of having fouled out of all 3 SEC tournament games. He had a good performance today, though, really. 8 points, but also 8 rebounds. The only flaw in his game, too many fouls. It's pretty tough when Rodrick, at 205 pounds, is facing the 290-pound Dimitri Hill. And a lot of people saying with both teams here headed to the NCAA tournament, this game doesn't mean too much. You can't judge that by the toughness of the play.
Florida sends in number 3, Brian Thompson, for number 5.
So Rodrick is fouled out. McCarty has 4, Martinez 3. Nobody in foul trouble really for the Gators, only DeClerq with 3. Florida has committed only 5 fouls in the second half. Kentucky 10. So the Gators in the double bonus for the final 8.5 minutes. Brasso, a 3-pointer. Rebound pulled down by Thompson. Here's Cross to Brown. And a 3-pointer by Craig Brown.
Brown under pressure. Travis Ford did a nice job running at him, but Brown gets it in.
Lead cut to 11. It was 16 just a couple of moments ago.
The question for the Gators is, has the foul trouble come too late?
for Kentucky.
A hold whistled against Brian Thompson of Florida. Don't forget, at the conclusion of the game, we'll be selecting a VP best player from each team. In addition to recognizing our 2 best players, VP and its dealers will contribute $2,000 to the Southeastern Conference to be distributed among the member institutions' general scholarship funds under a conference-approved plan. Wildcats on the half court. Just over 8 minutes remaining. Kentucky up 11. Rhodes, nice fake. Cut off on the drive and a pushing foul. Dimitri Hill of Florida or Andrew DeClerq, they were both there.
And Kentucky, with their foul trouble, they might want to consider working a little clock. They're ahead by 11. They might want to run some clock and try and shorten the game a bit.
The foul is called on Andrew DeClerq, and that is his 4th foul. So DeClerq will leave the game as Marty Kuzma replaces him.
Number 12, Rodrick Rhodes, going to the line for Kentucky, shooting 1-1.
There's Kuzma from Helsinki, Finland.
I doubt that DeClerq will sit for very long. It's time for the Gators to try and make a run.
Rhodes, who had done such a good job at the free throw line against Arkansas yesterday, misses that one, and the lead stays at 11. Dimitri Hill. Nice pass that time from Thompson.
Thompson had Ford guarding him, posted up nicely, and delivered the ball to Hill.
7:42 left. Timeout taken by Kentucky. And here come the Gators. One last challenge in this SEC tournament game. This bucket got it down to single digits.
Brian Thompson down low and Dimitri Hill taking it strong to the basket.
Ball season, but as we think ahead to next fall, the SEC football championship game will be showcased at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta December 3rd. If you'd like to be there as the champions of the Eastern and Western divisions clash for the overall conference title and the right to represent the SEC in the USF&G Sugar Bowl, call 1-800-SEC-4TICKS for ticket information. 57-48. Florida's gotten it down to a 9-point advantage. A 9-0 run for the Gators has gotten it down, and they've done it also with free throw shooting, getting 14 attempts. They've only hit 46%.
Missing some opportunities there. They're getting fouled, but they got to take advantage.
They've shot 10 more free throws than has Kentucky. Just 4 attempts in the game for the Wildcats. Rhodes cut off. Was lucky to save the ball. Shot clock's to 7. Rhodes, a three-pointer. Rebounded by Cross.
Gators trying to continue that run, looking for a basket here.
Hill posted up, wants the ball. They can't get it to him.
He looks open.
Shot clock to 10. Brown, a three-pointer. No good. Hill with the offensive board.
He finds a way to get the basketball.
He's cut off.
Kentucky zone still giving Florida problems. Dimitri Hill getting a little frustrated down low, not getting it inside.
Thompson hands it to Kuzma. Shot clock to 7. Kuzma sweeping left hand, no good. And Prickett with another board for the Wildcats. Jared Prickett with 9 rebounds.
Not exactly what the Gators were looking for on that trip down, a running left-handed hook from Kuzma.
Well, Kentucky as it's consumed almost 2 total 35-second shot clocks. Helped Kentucky score did the Gator deliberate attack, but the Wildcats then turn it over, so Florida still alive with 5:51 remaining and down 57-48. Turnovers all even. Backcourt foul on Kentucky's press. Rodrick Rhodes, number 3.
Rodrick Rhodes, That's his third.
And with Florida having so much trouble scoring and so much trouble against a 2-3 zone in a half-court setting, that foul not helping Kentucky.
And Florida now in the double bonus on the 10th Kentucky foul with 5:50 left in the game. While Dan Cross toes the line, let me give a strong endorsement to our stats crew throughout this SEC tournament and SEC regular season. Earl Anderson, Randy Hayden, Butch Adkins, and Scott McKinney have done a marvelous job on stats, and our thanks to you. (57-50). Gators close within 7. They've scored 11 straight points.
The Gators need to continue this excellent defense.
Delk has not scored in the second half, but Travis Ford spotted for the 3. Spins out. Cricket kept it alive, and a foul whistled on the rebound. It's on Florida. Greg Brown's second foul. That's 8 against Florida. Kentucky will shoot at the free throw line.
Travis Ford glanced at his feet to make sure he's behind the three-point line before he put that shot up. He was open in the corner, but didn't get it down.
That's the impact of that arc. The Rick Pitino philosophy is shoot a 3 or shoot a layup. Don't shoot anything in between. Cricket up to the top of the pyramid and back down and through.
Still shooting those foul shots well is Jared Cricket.
Shoot well in the regular season, and the tourney stepped it up a notch. And as always, doing a good job on the boards. His free throws give Kentucky a 9-point edge.
And they drop back into their 2-3 zone.
Cross lost it. Here's Delk against Dan Cross. Tony Delk got it.
Nice job by Tony Delk moving across the lane and going to his left to get that basket. We've seen him do that a couple of times at this tournament.
10 points, his first bucket of the second half. Here's DeClerq out to set a high screen for Cross. Three-pointer's no good. Ford takes it on the fly.
Ford will pull it out, work a little clock. Dan Cross probably too far out on that attempt.
Martinez, air ball on the 3. So the Florida native from Miami, Martinez, hears it from the Gator faithful, the chant of air ball on that 3.
Well, Martinez was open. Coach Pitino says that's okay. He claps for Martinez, sends him down to play defense.
Pitino's philosophy, which we said before, is he doesn't mind a miss, just a bad shot, and that was not a bad shot. Cross puts one up, and he is fouled. Second on Travis Ford.
Travis Ford, that's his second personal foul.
And I think it's a three-point attempt, which means Dan will get 3 free throws.
Kentucky once again helping Florida's cause and Florida's cross, as he is well behind the three-point arc and gets slapped on the elbow as he's taking that shot.
3 shots.
Even though he was a good 2 feet behind the arc, he is the SEC's best three-point shooter, so we have to challenge his shot. Misses the first free throw. Ford with a slap to the head. Cross hits one. It's going to be to Kentucky's benefit, though. He could have had the three-pointer. He missed the first free throw, so the best he can get out of is 2. And he does. So with 4:10 left, lead again is 9 for the Wildcats.
The Gators trying to press a little, trying to cause a turnover by Kentucky as they're down 9 with 4 minutes to play.
Third comes out on Martinez. It opens up the middle.
Kentucky very deliberate. Shot clock inside 10 now.
Cross fell down, but DeClerq slapped it for the Gators. Here's Brown, pulls up for a 3. No good. Brown with the offensive rebound. Baseline jumper is good.
Nice little jumper in the corner by Dan Cross. I think DeClerq saw the game last night. Rodrick Rhodes trying that behind-the-back pass again. It wasn't successful yesterday afternoon, and it's not successful today.
Gators within 7. Kentucky at one time led by 18. Shot clock on the left, 3 minutes left in the game. Rhodes for 3. And rebounded by Brown. Rhodes knocked it away for a moment. It's out of bounds. Kentucky's ball.
Tough break for the Gators there. Dan Cross in a little bit too much of a hurry as he gets this outlet pass along the wing. Brown with the rebound, kicks it out to Cross. Gets tangled with Rhodes, and the ball is off Cross's shoulder, out of bounds. Kentucky by 7.
51-54, Kentucky's lead with 2:52 remaining. The Gators still trying to scratch from behind to win this SEC tourney championship game. 38 three-point field goals make is a new SEC tournament record overall in the tourney, breaking the Wildcats' own mark set last year. Kentucky today on three-point shooting has hit 10 of 26.
The Cats with possession with 2:50 to play in the ball game, a 7-point lead. They're going to work the clock. A bit of a mismatch here.
Dimitri Hill out guarding Travis Ford. He's actually not coming out beyond the arc. Gets a pick from Prickett, does Ford, and a jump pass to Delk for 3. Tony Delk has 13. A great pass by Travis Ford.
And great execution by the Wildcats. They work the clock down, end up with an open jumper from Tony Delk.
DeClerq took a step backwards and then caught himself, so he would have walked. Hill picked up the loose ball and pounded it home. 15 for Dimitri Hill.
Nice penetration and dish to get a basket for Hill.
Inside 2 minutes.
It's almost foul time now for the Gators. Kentucky up by 8, 1:45 to play. Jared Prickett is still in the game, the worst foul shooter for Kentucky, but he's shot them well today.
Martinez back to Brasso for the 3. Count another one at the shot clock buzzer. An even dozen trays today for the Wildcats as they add to their tournament record. Ford with a steal. Delk, Prickett, foul.
Perfect execution for the Wildcats. 2 consecutive trips. They work the shot clock down and end up with 3-point shots. Jeff Brasso getting that one down.
Prickett shooting 2.
Jared Prickett with his 7th point. He also has 10 rebounds and 4 assists. And Jeff Brasso, what a job he has done in this tournament, getting the starting call with the suspension of Rodrick Rhodes and starting the next 2 games as well. It's been a winning combination for the Wildcats, and Brasso has done his share, 11 points today. Cross, running hook, and a timeout, Florida. Gators call timeout with 1:01 left. Kentucky leading by 11. We'll be back after this message from your local SEC station.
Today's SEC action has been brought to you by Shoney's Restaurants. Down home, just down the road for delicious home-style food. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher, the official sports beverage of the SEC. By Rhodes, helping to add value to your home. And by the new La Quinta Inns. You're not staying at a hotel, you're staying with us.
With producer Roger Roebuck, director Dave Burchett, Tom Hammond, Barry Booker, with Bob Kessling and Dave Baker at the Pyramid. And yes, it looks like Kentucky for the 3rd straight year and the 18th time will be SEC tournament champion. The last 2 games, Kentucky has shot 28 of 64 from three-point range. That is 44% and a prescription for victory. That and their great zone defense.
And they do it by starting inside. Today, they pounded inside early against the Gators, make them respect the inside game, and then knock down the threes, as they did yesterday.
Pushing foul on Florida comes with 51 seconds left, and Brown a little gimpy.
Florida foul number 4, Craig Brown. That's his.
Well, our thanks to Roger Roebuck and Dave Burchett, and to Wendy Voigt and Jimmy Moore for all their work in the truck throughout the season. It has been another fine season of SEC basketball. My 15th year, Barry. Your first. I know you enjoyed it as much as I still do after all these years.
Yes, I had a ball this year.
Now it's going to be fun to sit back and see how well the SEC teams do in the tournament. Certainly, I think 4 are in: Kentucky, Florida, Arkansas, and Alabama. Mississippi State on the bubble. And you'll see how they fare in the NCAA tournament starting next weekend. This may earn this victory today, Kentucky, a number 2 seed. That'd be a big step up for them. An important win over a ranked team today to win the championship and maybe get that number 2 seed.
And the Florida Gators have played very well this weekend. They should be a 4 seed and may slide up to a 3 as we move to the NCAA tournament.
All those answers will be coming later today, of course. There's a foul of Travis Ford committed by Jason Anderson. Our BP best players of the game. Rodrick Rhodes. He's out of the doghouse for the Wildcats. He hit 5 of his 8 shots, 4 of 7 from three-point range, 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists. And big Dimitri Hill didn't miss a field goal attempt. He was 6 for 6, 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 1 block shot. Travis Ford has had a big tournament. There's Dimitri Hill shaking his head. What could I have done? Big guy, you did all you could do.
As the Kentucky Wildcats move on, they're looking like they have Final Four potential. If they move the basketball as well as they have this weekend, I think they could be there.
Best they've looked, especially offensively, in a long time with that inside-out attack and a new weapon in that zone defense. Anderson got the putback. Kentucky's press was especially effective at the end of the season, especially with Rodrick Rhodes being moved to the front of the press. The press largely responsible for their comeback in the regular season, down 19 to beat the Gators. Also did the same against Georgia. And now the zone defense adding a new dimension, so Kentucky peaking at NCAA tournament time. And again, you see the folks that make not only our tournament coverage possible, this grueling 4-day set, this time for Memphis, but throughout the regular season, the folks behind the scenes that do all the hard work to make our job so easy. And once again, we salute you guys and gals because you've done a wonderful job.
Even dealing with a rookie this year. I appreciate everything you guys did and all the support this year.
And isn't it amazing the way things change so rapidly in college basketball that once again the Florida Gators, a surprise entrant in the championship game, only their 3rd trip to the title game in their history, but a new force in the SEC. But the old force is still there, the Big Blue, the Kentucky Wildcats. This is the 25th SEC tournament championship game they've been in 35 tournaments, and they win for the 18th time.
Winning more championships, more tournament championships than the rest of the teams in the league combined. Just amazing.
And that is against stiff competition. The addition of Arkansas to the league, the upgrading of the other programs, and still the Wildcats will prevail at tourney time.
Florida Gators will be back. Lon Kruger doing a great job down there with that program. The Gators are definitely on the rise.
They lose only Craig Brown among their starters. Brown and Marty Kuzma overall. So the Gators expected to be a top 20 team again next year. And now as the Wildcats dribble it out, those rabid blue faithful, Patino and Kruger at midcourt, and the celebration is on at the Pyramid in Memphis. Once again, Kentucky, SEC tournament champion.
Great job by the Wildcats. They come through a couple of tough outings. Mississippi State, a physical ball game, and then the big emotional game, the game of the tournament against Arkansas yesterday, and they survive and win today against the Gators.
Kentucky, no signs of a letdown, no signs of fatigue. They win impressively over a very good Florida team by the final margin of 73-60, and now all eyes turn to the NCAA tournament. Tom Hammond for Barry Booker saying so long from Memphis. You've been watching Jefferson Pilot Sports exclusive SEC basketball. So long, everybody.
Kentucky Wildcats are headed to the big dance after winning their third straight SEC tournament title. We'll join Alan Cutler live in Memphis in about 10 minutes for a wrap-up on the game. But first, tonight's top...
Took his Cats to Memphis, and once again, they've pulled it off. Good evening, I'm Dan Dixon.
And I'm Susan Parsons. For the third year in a row, the Cats leave the SEC tourney as champs. We'll have more on that story in just a moment, but first tonight, our other top story.
Joins us now live from Memphis with the latest. Hi, Alan.
Hi, guys. What a week it's been for Kentucky. Billy D, you've had a child this week. You've got a new head coaching job after the season. You've won your third consecutive Southeastern Conference tournament champion in a row as assistant coach at the University of Kentucky. It's been very, very emotional. Talk to us about it.
Well, for me personally, obviously, it's been an exciting week, and certainly thrilled about the birth of my daughter. You know, it's going to be very, very difficult leaving Lexington. The last 5 years have been just tremendous, a lot of fond memories. But I'm also very excited about the opportunities that lie ahead at Marshall.
Unbelievable. You got on a plane about 4 a.m., got back to Lexington, were with your wife, saw the birth, and came back and were coaching the game yesterday.
Yeah, it was, God looked over us. It was nice. I had a chance to see the baby being born, then to come back and have a chance to beat the #1 ranked team in the country was just a great thrill, so everything really worked out well.
Travis Ford wins the MVP of this tournament. He's really done a terrific job as the floor general for Kentucky.
I think all year long, Travis has done an excellent job from the standpoint that teams have done a very good job of taking his offense away. He's such a good three-point shooter. Teams have been getting up in him, not letting him get his shot off. But Travis, being such a great leader, really has stayed within himself and has made everybody else on the floor better.
I thought the defense for Kentucky today was outstanding. Billy, your record in the past 3 years at Kentucky is 16-2 in postseason play, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, we've really played well, and I think what happens is everything that we do, you know, lost to South Carolina, we really tried to turn it into a positive. And although the seedings here in the SEC tournament really weren't in our favor, having to play Mississippi State late game, not get in bed till 1 o'clock in the morning, then come back and play Arkansas. You know, when this team's back's been against the wall, they've really stepped up and played well. So we've tried to use all of our losses throughout the course of the season as learning experiences. I think our guys have improved.
To simplify things, do you think the three-point shot and defense was the key in this tournament?
For us, it was obviously coming in. I think we made 10 three-point shots in the first half against Arkansas, and obviously our zone defense was very effective against Arkansas. Kept us out of foul trouble, and certainly here this afternoon against Florida, we really shut down Craig Brown and Dan Cross, a big key to their team, and the zone was very effective for us. So we've mixed up our defenses quite a bit.
Very quickly, do you know where Kentucky's going to play in the NCAA, and do you care?
Well, it'd be very nice to go to St. Pete and then having a chance to come back to Knoxville. Certainly a lot of our fans would be there, but I know we're really excited about the opportunity. It'd be interesting to see whether or not we're a 2 or a 3 seed.
Kentucky wins their third consecutive Southeastern Conference tournament in a row. Billy Donovan, 28 years old, a rising superstar in the business. Did I make you blessed, Billy?
That's nice of you.
It's true, too.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. And we'll have more with Jeff McCord coming up in sports in about 8 minutes. Reporting live from the Pyramid in Memphis, I'm Alan Cutler. Let's go back to the studio.
All right. Thanks, Alan, and thanks, Coach Donovan. Okay. And we'll be right back with your...
Has a good selection of beautiful, quality mobile homes at reasonable prices. A Watts mobile home and the Insider heat pump. Today's best value.
99% of all Americans have televisions in their homes. WYMT TV has nearly 100,000 viewers watching the 6 o'clock news. WYMT reaches 26 counties with approximately 221,000 households. 99.9% of these households have television. The nearest thing to an in-home demonstration and sales contact for the business is WIMT.
Rex and Dave's Outdoor World coming soon.
Coming up next on CBS Sports, the NCAA Basketball Championship Selection Show.